Hello everyone. Welcome to our presentation on our attendance system built using HTML, CSS, JavaScript, MySQL, and PHP. Let's dive in. This page features a responsive login and sign up interface styled with Flexbox for seamless layout handling. Users can register and log in with a visually appealing and functional design. Our Flexbox.php file defines the layout. Here's a quick breakdown. Container div, the main wrapper that hold all sections. Sign up and sign in container. These are separate form for user registration and login. Overlay panel, a visual switcher with engaging welcome messages and toggle buttons. Sign up form. You can upload a profile image. Enter details like username, password, full name, and ID number. Uses the post method to send the data to signup.php. Later, my members will explain to you how signup.php works. Sign in form. User input their credentials. Redirects to login.php for authentication. Later, my members will explain to you how login.php works.
Hi everyone! In this part, I'll explain how the sign up and admin approval process works in my system. We'll go through three main PHP files: signup.php, review signups.php, and approve signup.php. Let's start. I'll explain how the signup.php works. This file handles the user registration process. Here's how it works. Step 1 is database connection and encryption. The db_connect.php file is included to establish a database connection. The Caesar cipher encryption function is used to secure the user's password by shifting characters by 5 positions. Step 2 is collecting user inputs. The script captures the user's username, password, full name, and ID number from the form. It also processes a profile picture uploaded by the user, ensuring only valid images types such as JPG, JPEG, and PNG are included. Step 3 is storing user data. After encrypting the password, all details are inserted into the table_user table, except for the user type and RFID, which require admin approval. If the registration is successful, the user is redirected to the login page. But they will not be able to log in their account because their type in database is empty and their RFID. Because based on the user type, if the person who logged in is with the type of 1, the system will redirect to admin.php. If the person who logged in is with type 2, the system will redirect to user.php.
Review signups.php. This page is for admins to review pending signs up. Here's the breakdown. Step 1 is admin validation. Only login admins can access this page. If a non-admin tries to open it, they're redirected to the login page. Step 2 is fetching pending signs up. This script retrieves user from the database where the type or RFID is not yet assigned. Step 3 is displayed pending users. Pending signs up are displayed in a table format showing the user's username, full name, ID number, and profile picture. Step 4 is approaching users. For each user, the admin can assign a role, admin or student, and enter an RFID number. Once filled out, the admin clicks the approve button, which submits the form to approve signup.php.
Explaining approve_signup.php. This file finalizes the user approval process. Here's how. Step 1 is validating admin access. Again, only admins can access the script. Unauthorized users are redirected to the login page. Step 2 is processing approval. When the admin submits the form, the script updates the TBL underscore user table with the selected type and RFID for the user. Let me demonstrate the full workflow. Sign up. I'll register a new user by filling out the sign up form and uploading a profile picture. Review signups. As an admin, I'll log in and view pending signups. For the new user, I'll assign a role and enter an RFID. Approve signup. Once approved, the user data is updated in the database and removed from the pending list. And finally, the new user can log in and see their account.
Hi everyone, my name is J-Mark Primero, and in this part, I'll walk you through the login functionality of our system, focusing on two PHP files, login.php and dbconnect.php. So first, let's look at dbconnect.php. This file is responsible for connecting the application to the database. It defines constants for the database server, username, password, and the database name. Using these constants, we establish a connection with the MySQLi object. If the connection fails, an error message is displayed, and the script stops. This file is included in other scripts to simplify database access. So now, moving to login.php. So, let's focus on the main file, login.php, which handles user login. Step 1 is included database connection. At the top, we include dbconnect.php to ensure the database connection is available. Step 2 is password encryption with Caesar cipher. We implemented a simple Caesar cipher encryption for storing and validating passwords. The function Caesar encrypt shifts each character in the password by 5 positions. For example, ABC becomes FGH. This helps secure the password during validation. Step 3. Handling login requests. This script listens for POST requests. When a user submits the login form, the username and password are captured. The entered password is encrypted using the Caesar cipher to match the format stored in the database. And step 4 is querying the database. A prepared statement is used to query the TBL user table securely, avoiding SQL injection. If username match, the script compare the encrypted password with the stored password. And step 5 is validating credentials. If the credentials are valid, the script starts a session and stores user's details, including username, full name, type admin or user, picture, and ID number. And for the last step is redirecting users. Based on the user type, if the person who logged in is with the type of 1, the system will redirected to admin.php. If the person who logged in is with the type 2, the system will redirected to user.php. If credentials are invalid, an error message is displayed. Let me show you a quick demo. I log in as an admin and demonstrate redirection to admin.php. Next, I log in as a user and show the redirection to user.php. And lastly, I'll enter incorrect credentials to trigger the error message.
Now, I'll walk you through the admin.php and admin.js files, which together provide a robust interface for managing attendance in our system. Let's explore how these scripts works to ensure efficient and intuitive functionality. The admin.php page is the central hub for managing attendance data. It includes profile details, a navigation menu, and a dynamic table that lists attendance records. Key highlights of this page is Profile section displays the admin's name and profile picture. Navigation links provide access to features like attendance list, in-out, sign-up forms, student list, download attendance, and graphs. Attendance table shows records with details such as name, ID number, time in and out, date, section, and instructor ID. The page also integrates modals for additional functionality like handling section inputs or downloading attendance lists. Dynamic table with data tables. The attendance records are rendered in a table powered by data tables library. Features is searchable and sortable. Admins can quickly find a specific record. User-friendly interface ensures ease of navigation for managing large datasets. Clicking the In-Out button opens a modal prompting the admin to enter a section name. Section data is passed to the RFID.php via URL parameters for processing.
Now, we will walk through the implementation of an RFID-based attendance system, including how RFID is data processed from the time-in and time-out functionality. Let's break down the code and understand how everything works. We have three main files involved in the attendance system. RFID.php is this handles the RFID input and interacts with the backend to process attendance. RFID.js, the JavaScript file that processes the RFID input from the user and send it to the server. Attendance.php, the backend PHP file that handles database queries related to attendance. Let's start by examining the RFID.php. This file first checks the request method if it is POST, meaning the data is being submitted via form. The main data being submitted is the RFID value that the section from which the user is logged in. First, we sanitize the RFID by removing any leading zeros using the preg replace function. This ensures the RFID matches the format stored in the database. We then prepare the SQL statement to fetch the user's information based on the RFID. If the user is found in the TBL user table, we fetch their full name, ID, and the picture, and proceed to call the stored procedure time in out. Here's the key part. The time in out stored procedure manages whether the user is clocking in or clocking out. It takes the user's ID, name, the instructor's ID from the session, and the section as parameters. Next, let's talk about the RFID.js file. This file listens for keypress from the users to capture the RFID input. When a key is pressed, it is added to a buffer, and when the enter key is pressed, the complete RFID is processed by removing any leading zeros. The processed RFID is then sent to the RFID.php file via an AJAX POST request. If the user is successfully found in the database, we display their name and their profile picture on the page. Notice that the section ID is also passed in the request to help identify which section the attendance is being recorded for. Now, let's look at the attendance.php. This PHP script checks if the RFID has been submitted. If it has, it validates the RFID and checks if the user exists in the TBL user table. If the user is found, the script checks the TBL attendance table for an existing entry where the user has clocked in, but not yet clocked out. If such entry exists, the script updates the record with the current time as a clock out time. If no existing record is found, a new record is created with the current time as the clock in time. The script sends a JSON response back to the front end, indicating whether the action is successfully or if there was an error.
Now we'll walk you through how we manage a student in the attendance system. We'll cover how a student can be edited, deleted, and list, and I'll explain the roles of each PHP and JavaScript files. We start with student list PHP file which display all the students in the system. This file is designed for the admin to manage student data. When an admin logs in, we fetch and display a list of the students. The file also checks that the login user is an admin. Displaying the list of students. If they are not an admin, the user is redirected to a different page. Next, let's look at the two main buttons, edit and delete. This button triggers modal pop-ups for the admin to either edit a student information or confirm deletion. The admin's profile information is displayed at the top, followed by the student list in the table. The table shows the student ID, full name, and RFID with the buttons to edit or delete each student. The edit button opens a modal where the admin can change the student name or RFID. The delete button shows a confirmation modal to prevent accidental deletion. Both of these actions are handled using Ajax to send data to the server without reloading the page.
When the edit button is clicked, an Ajax request is sent to get student.php, passing the student's ID. This PHP file fetches the student's data from the database and returns it as a JSON object. The returned data is then displayed in the modal for editing. If the student is found, their data is displayed, but if not, the file sends back an error message saying the student was not found. After editing, when the admin clicks save, the update student.php file is triggered. This file receives the updated student information, ID, full name, and RFID via POS and updates the corresponding record in the database. If the update is successful, a success message is displayed. Otherwise, an error message is shown.
Deleting student. If the admin confirms the deletion, the delete student.php file is triggered. This file receives the student ID via POS and delete the student record. From the database, after deletion, a success or error message is displayed.
Now, I explain how we handle the functionality for downloading the attendance list in CSV format. I'll walk you through the PHP and JavaScript code that powers the download process. We begin the download underscore attendance PHP file, which is responsible for generating the attendance report for a specific section and providing it for download. First, we check if the user is an admin, $_session type equals 1. If they are directed to a different page, this ensures that only admins can access this feature. Next, we include the database connection file db_connect.php to interact with the MySQL database. We retrieve the select parameter from the URL using $_get session. This allows us to filter the attendance records based on the section the admin selects. Then, we prepare an SQL query to fetch the attendance data from the TBL_attendance table. We select the name, ID number, time in, time out, date, instructor name, and section. The query is filtered by the instructor's ID and the section. This ensures we only get the attendance data for the login admin section. The query uses bind_param to safely bind the parameters, user ID, and section to the query. After executing the query, we fetch the result as an associative array. This array contains all the records that match the section. We then set the file name for a CSV file using the section name $fill file name equals $section.csv.
Now, I'll walk you through admin graph.php file, which is designed to display attendance data in a graphical format. This page provides admin with a visual representation of attendance per section, making it easier to analyze and manage records. The purpose of admin graph.php file is to display a bar chart showing student attendance count grouped by section and to allow filtering the data by a specific date. Key features is interactive graph, a visually appealing chart powered by Canvas.js library. Date filter model. Admins can select a specific date to view attendance data. The backend logic is implemented using PHP. Here's a summary. Session validation ensures only login admins can access this page. Database query. The script retrieves attendance data for a specific instructor and date. It groups the data by section and counts the number of students in each section. Dynamic data points. The attendance data is formatted into an array compatible with Canvas.js. Graph area. The graph is rendered in the hashtag chart container div using Canvas.js. Chart details is the title is attendance per section. Axis Y displays attendance count. Each bar represents a section. Date filter modal. Clicking the filter by date button opens a modal. Admins can select a date and the graph updates based on the selected date. Now, let's go to the user's dashboard. I'll explain how we display a student attendance data and show it graphically on the user dashboard. Let's go through the two key parts of this functionality. The user.php page for displaying attendance data in a table and the user graph.php page for showing a graphical representation of the student's monthly attendance. Let's begin with the user.php page. This page displays a student personal information and their attendance records. We first check if the user is a student type equals to. If the session type isn't set to a student, they are redirected to the login page to prevent unauthorized access. Once verified, we retrieve the student's full name and profile picture for the session data. Next, we connect to the database dbconnect.php to fetch the student attendance data. After executing the query, the results are fetched and stored in the attendance data array. We display the student's attendance records in table. Each row shows the attendance details like name, ID number, time in, time out, date, and instructor name. The table is dynamically populated using PHP with the data fetched earlier being inserted into the table rows. Moving on to the user graph.php page, this page shows the student monthly attendance count in graphical format. Just like in the user.php file, we first ensure that the user is a student by checking their session type. Next, we retrieve the student's ID number and use it to query the attendance records from TBL attendance table. We count the number of attendance record per month using month-date function and group the result by month. The result is an array of months and their corresponding attendance count, which we store in the data points array. We use this array to feed data into a chart later. We create the chart dynamically by passing data points array from PHP to JavaScript using JSON code. This converts the PHP array into a JavaScript-friendly format, which is then used to render the chart. The chart is displayed inside the chart container div, which is styled to be 65% of the page width and 500 pixels high.